Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be reviewing Wonder Woman 84. So let's not even pull any punches. Joey, what did you think about the film?
Why is Wonder Woman set in the 80s and we don't have any fantastic 80s music montages? The pacing in this movie sucked. I have seen better CG.
Would you ever watch this movie again?
I will never watch this movie again. I would rather watch Man of Steel. I would rather watch Aquaman. Once we start getting into Justice Leagues and Batman versus Superman, it's all within that same realm.
Right.
And I'll be honest, that's not what I was expecting to say in this review. This was my Christmas gift.
And
a big lump of Wonder Woman coal.
Wonder Woman coal. You branded it. Branded the coal. Unfortunately, I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah.
The film it's not very good.
Yeah.
I watched it with my entire family. My mom had to get up halfway through she just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
It was so boring. It was lifeless.
Yeah.
I wanted to stop watching, to be completely honest with you. I was tired. It was just
and he got a chance to watch it before I did.
I watched
and he
it
texted
on,
me
yeah.
and was telling me how bad this movie is, and I thought, there's no way he's being a harsh critic. There's no way this movie is that bad. At least he prepared me.
I text you 30 minutes in, and I what I say? I said it's rough.
Yeah,
it's rough. 30 minutes in, and I still have a long ways to go, and it did not get better from that 30-minute mark. So I think some of the performances were okay.
Yeah.
I thought Pedro Pascal's character, for what he was given, I think he executed on what they wanted him to execute on.
Yeah.
I bought his character for...
And to me, he was the standout actor in the entire film.
I bought his character for the most part.
Yeah.
That's not saying that much, though.
No.
But his character, he was okay, right? Pedro Pascal's character, it's really over the top, kind of like one of those villains from like the old Batman movies.
Yeah, it feels like a throwback to the late
like,
70s, early 80s, which, I mean, it could be intentional. Whether it was intentional or not, it still felt flat as a character, but he was the standout performer in the whole movie for sure.
Yeah, but I feel like that's what they wanted him to get across, and that came across well, right?
I'll say the second half of the movie was more exciting than the first half.
I will say that.
Positive.
Let me tell you.
It finally had an injection of life.
Let me tell you, there was a point in the movie where I felt like, okay, it's going to start getting good. It was the White House scene. And Cheetah and Wonder Woman, they were about to do their fight.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, okay, this movie's about to get exciting, right? That was probably the second true action scene in the whole movie.
Yeah.
I
mean, the action was so far spaced out. We had an opening scene of the Amazonian Olympics, which wasn't that exciting. We've already seen it, and it was executed better in the first film.
Yeah.
And we went so long between action scenes. And, action scenes don't always make or break, but when you're here to watch a superhero movie, and then you finally get those scenes and they're lackluster as well, it's like, I didn't like the way that any of those scenes action-wise were composed.
Yeah.
But I think the film really fails in the script and the story department.
Yeah.
So where it starts to feel like it picks up, it immediately comes back down to earth because the script and the story is just not strong enough to support 2.5 hours worth of the on-the-nose dialogue and just all the things that they injected the script with that honestly it wasn't that exciting.
So let's dive into that a little bit, right? Yeah. What specifically were your biggest issues with the story and the script?
So with the story and the script, it felt like, for some reason, it's weird because it feels like the director and the writers knew what they wanted and did not know what they wanted at the same time, right? Or at least they just didn't know how to execute it and execute it very tightly, right? Because that movie was 2.5 hours long. The first half of the movie was overly long. The second half crammed a lot into just a little bit of time. One of my biggest gripes is the lack of subtlety. So very rarely am I bothered by a movie that feels like it has a message and everything like that, which is great. I love that. We all need a message. We need positivity. But this was a movie that felt like a 2.5 hour lesson about truth and greed. And we've seen all of that done before. So if you tackle those things, you have to do it well, right? So for me, there were some times where the dialogue was so on the nose and so in your face, blatant. This is what the movie's about. You have to be a good person. Don't get lost in greed and make sure you tell the truth. They tried to weave all of that. And for me, I think trying to teach us a lesson got in the way of characters and story progressing in a way that felt natural. Everything felt kind of convenient and fabricated and put together to say by the end, here's the message. Wonder Woman is a great hero. Everybody should be good to each other.
And I think that shows itself in quite a few scenes in the movie, right? I think the first place that they really try to have that come across is in the intro when they're kind of training for, I don't know,
whatever it is to be the goddesses.
They're training for some.
They're running, they're jumping, and they're shooting colorful arrows.
They're doing something.
Yeah.
And, Diana kind of takes a shortcut, right? And so they kind of explore that, you can't win this competition because you took a shortcut. You can't take a shortcut. You have to be honest and you have to do the right things. And, I think when we're talking about the script, I don't feel like they did a good enough job fleshing that out, at least in a way that made sense, right? Like they tried to explore that more in the film with Steve, right? Steve comes back to life through this magical stone, right? And, the stone grants wishes.
That's right. He comes back to life because of a wish made on a magical stone.
Right. And, he comes back in some other guy's body.
Yeah.
And, I guess the end result of it is Diana starts to lose her powers.
Yeah.
Right? The stone, there's a give and a take, right? You get your wish, but then it also takes something from you as well. Yeah. And Diana, she has to save the world, but she can't save the world if she's losing her powers, right? And she has to make a decision to either give up her powers and be happy with Steve.
And you see, and to me, that's why it didn't make sense, because the lesson at the beginning is all about doing the right thing and all of that. She's been doing the right thing for what, 60, 70 years? She's been saving the world, doing everything. Yeah. I guess it's saying there's no shortcut and she's in love, and now you're not supposed to take a shortcut to love. It
didn't make sense.
That's where it starts to fall apart.
It didn't make sense.
There are so many themes and ideas that the screenwriters and everybody tried to cram into this movie that's why it feels so bloated, and why also none of it really landed for me. It's because there are so many competing themes. None of them are executed perfectly, and even not even perfectly, but even in a way that would suffice to the story. Yeah. I mean, the movie literally ended with Max Lord trying to reach out to millions, potentially billions of people through the television, even though we've already demonstrated in the movie, you have to touch somebody to get a wish. You can touch somebody through their particles and grant a wish.
There were particles.
You can extract health.
Yes.
That's the logic we're talking about here.
It's logical.
In this script.
It's I can reach out to the people at home right now.
Tell me, folks, can you feel it?
And when they go to Maxwell Lord's office and they start looking around, my mom, she was like, so they just found all the evidence in like 30 seconds?
Yeah, of course. That's exactly where a villain leaves all of his evidence. Everywhere on the table. Merry Christmas, everyone.
I don't know, man. And the saddest part is, though, I feel like this is what they were going for. They just couldn't find...
Missed it by that much.
Their footing. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to our review of Wonder Woman 88. Please make sure you like,
It was so bad he jumped 4 years in the timeline and went straight from 84 to 88.
Did I say 88?
You sure as hell did. This movie sucks.
It's not. Like and subscribe. And until next time.